So, let's take a look here. I wanted to get into a few things here right off the rip. So, we've got digital asset ETPs, exchange traded products. These are ETFs, these sort of things. We saw $2 billion in weekly outflows. This is the largest weekly outflow on digital asset ETPs since February. So a lot of this, I think, was created from uncertainty with everything basically, um, and a lot of the institutions taking some profits on Bitcoin and Ethereum led to some further withdrawals. Bitcoin fell. How low did we go? Well, did we go to 93? We're 94 right now. Let's see. We've been as low as 92.9, so basically 93. We've been as low as there. So we fell down to its lowest level in 6 months. Tight liquidity weighing in on the markets, but a lot of people still expecting a rebound. I saw a report from J.P. Morgan. They still think we can get to 170,000 in the next 4 to 6 months. We saw Harvard, which I don't know if you guys remember that big story about Harvard buying Bitcoin, holding it on their balance sheet. They're doing it by way of IBIT, BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF. They've tripled their IBIT position with the market being down, making its endowment now the largest United States holding despite recent price declines. So that was kind of interesting. We've got overall the altcoin market looking pretty bleak right now, but Ethereum is holding up pretty decent overall. I mean, still at 3,100, basically 3,200 right now. It's down about the same as Bitcoin in the last 7 days. So we're looking at XRP is actually one of the top gainers here in the last 24-hour period, up 3%, holding the line at 228. A few altcoins making a push, but nothing too crazy. Uniswap is held in there pretty nicely. Aster has also looked pretty good as well. Monero's up a little bit, but overall, man, it's kind of much of the same. We're chopping. I mean, Bitcoin's still within a range here at 95K right now. Actually bounced up a little bit. I just refreshed the page. It's back up over 95 at market open. So we are getting a little bounce here at market open. But listen, guys, I think we saw this happen in April, right? Like we saw this big drawdown happen in April and it freaked people out. People ran for the hills. And then you zoom out a couple months and, you're setting all-time highs. So I don't think this is a structural breakdown of the market. I still think we have some good months ahead. But this is definitely kind of one of those boring times in the market that tests your patience, that tests kind of your conviction, especially in the altcoin market, right? So that's kind of where I sit. I mean, I'd like to get some other people's thoughts. I mean, Paid, are you still bullish on the altcoin market? Are you still feeling as if we're still in a nice spot here when it comes to buying some of your high conviction plays?
And 10X's to me are everywhere. Easy. This is just my opinion, not financial advice. But there's a lot of shit that's down. Excuse my French, so I forgot you're streaming. But there's a lot of stuff that's down right now that should not be as low as it is. And I don't see why, if you were convicted a week ago, a month ago, 2 months ago, why you're running for the hills now and not double downing on the plays you already have. If you don't have stables and you kind of gotta just sit, sometimes that's what you have to do, or just cash in general. You just gotta sit on it. Sometimes I'm in that position where I'm just sitting. There's a buying opportunity. You're gonna miss it. You're not gonna catch everything. But if you have the capital and you believe where the market's going, yeah, we should definitely start looking at being a lot more bullish than what the timeline looks like. I think Charles Hoskinson just did a video. You know, Charles Hoskinson, co-founder of Ethereum and founder of Cardano. He made a video the other day about people paper handing, and he's like, "Yo, this market's going to $10 trillion because 10 trillion, the number doesn't even matter anymore. Those numbers don't matter. We print money all the time, all across the globe. So for crypto to go to $10 trillion, what is $10 trillion? It's nothing. It's just they're just numbers at this point. So for the crypto market to get there, um, maybe not this year, but in the future, 100% is on the table. So why would you run now? So for me, if you're looking at altcoins, top 100, maybe top 200, depending on what it is, I think you're gonna be able to get into on a lot of projects at a good discount that's gonna pay off in the future. A lot of projects like VeChain. I'm just going to mention it. I love VeChain. We had Jake on the show Friday. We're gonna have him back on soon. I mean, they're at a cent and a half. A 10x is just 15 cents, guys. Like, I was buying at 5 cents. I was buying at 10 cents. I was buying at 3 cents. I was buying all over the place. But from now, if we can just get to 15 cents, you got a 10x from right now. And a lot of plays like that in the top 100 are at similar situations. And that's not even the all-time high from last time. Last cycle was 27 cents, 28 cents. So you still have room on a lot of these plays to, even if you just get back to all-time highs, make significant gains. And that's not including going into price discovery or any of that. So, I mean, overall, I'm still bullish. Most people are bullish at all the events I'm at. I'm in Argentina for Dev Connect. I was at the BNB event yesterday. I was at the Polkadot event. Polkadot had an event that's 72 hours basically straight, which is kind of insane. But it was really cool. Great talks there. I ran into Sarah of Algorand. She gave a talk on marketing and stuff, and it was called like marketing church at the Polkadot event. But it's really cool down here, and I think the market sentiment overall is bullish. But there's going to be 40-50% retracements on the way up. You're going to go down 50%, 40%, right, and then shoot up 100%, 150%. You're going to go down to 30%, the whole market. Then you're going to shoot up. It's not just a straight up line. It's not just a God candle. Not yet, at least.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I think the more that I read and see things and hear things and kind of piece everything together, the more I believe that, we're just in an extended market cycle. And, you're going to have pullbacks along the way, similar to what we had in April. And, I mean, just all of the different things out there point to liquidity coming back in the markets. I mean, we've been missing liquidity for a long time. Then you look at how much money's sitting in some of these money markets right now. Basically, when money like that, when big money is sitting in money markets, they're waiting to go risk on. When this amount of money is sitting in the money market, they're risk off. They believe it is not a bullish time to go crazy risky. Now we say all that, and the stock markets continue to do really really well. But in the crypto side of things, it's been a Bitcoin bull cycle. Everything else has kind of moved here or there slightly, but we just haven't reached that risk on environment yet in the crypto sphere, and I think that gives us a lot of insight into where we are in this cycle. If we had to pinpoint kind of where we are, and I'd love to hear some other people's thoughts on this, feel free to grab Mike, come on up, join us. I think we're somewhere in the middle of this kind of phase. I know a lot of people are like, oh, this is the tail end of it. We're in the final quarter. I disagree. I think we're like almost, I think we're just past halftime, just starting the third quarter. Like, and I think
Zach,
yeah, it's just an
Zach,
extended cycle. I mean, to me, we're not going to have a cycle where Ethereum goes $200 more than its previous all-time high, are we? I mean, just start there, right? Like, like that's not going to happen. I mean, Bitcoin has far surpassed where it went last cycle at 70K, going up to 126. But I mean, are we really going to have a cycle ending with Ethereum going from 4,700 to 4,900 at its peak? Is that how it's going to go down? I mean, God, I hope not. JP Morgan put something else out there. I put that up in the nest. And their prediction there with, 170K over the next 6 to 12 months, I think that again speaks to we're no longer in these 4-year cycles. We're just in a cycle. And there's going to be down times and up times. There's some other interesting things I put up in the nest too. The world's highest IQ record holder says we're going to 220,000 in the next 45 days. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, he's the smartest guy in the world. So, I mean, who knows? Speaking of basket ETFs, I don't know if you guys saw what CoinMarketCap put out recently. They launched their CMC20. This is super, super dope, by the way. Crypto's first DeFi-enabled tradable index token. And it's ticker CMC20. First DeFi native tradable crypto index token on the BNB chain. That is super cool. Single trade gateway to diversified exposure across the top 20 crypto assets. Love that. No surprise there. It's built on the BNB chain. CoinMarketCap is owned by Binance, for those of you guys who didn't know. But yeah, super interesting. Super interesting. I love that because I think this is how the institutions are going to want to get exposure. And this is why we continue to say the same damn thing, but in a different way. There's no reason to get crazy with your picks right now. I mean, look at the top 20 assets, top 30 assets, top 40 assets that are, peak fear right now, sitting at the lowest of lows, right? I mean, so many of these top assets that are going to be in these basket ETFs, in these index funds, are sitting there doing nothing. So there's no reason to go and full port, a big chunk of money in some random thing right now. Focus at the top and play the long game in crypto. I think, that gets lost in the sauce because everybody wants it right now. Everybody wants it to happen right now. But right now is a great time to accumulate for the long term. And I think you could deploy multiple strategies always, always, always. I think I heard something the other day. It was like, you trade, whether that's swing trading or day trading or whatever. You trade to make a living. You invest to have a future. Something like that. And I like that. And I do both, right? So trading assets right now is a way to stack more of your long-term wealth, whether it's in Bitcoin, ETH, or one of these top assets. So find the opportunities in the short term, but play the long game at the same time. I think that's really, what I'm trying to get at here. I forgot totally for a second that I'm live streaming and I'm sitting here like super relaxed. What's up, everybody on YouTube X? I'm sitting here like kick back. Just sometimes I forget the camera's on. But anyway, that's where I'm at, man. I mean, it's just another day in a market that is like peak fear right now, and just don't let the noise get to you guys. Don't let the noise dictate your decisions. Pay, go ahead. I see your hand up.
No, I just wanted to go back to one thing about the timeline of the rest of the cycle. Like, you have projects like Asher that, recently launched, in the world of crypto, it's recent, right? And then you have Monad dropping, what, today? Zach?
Yeah. So speaking of Monad, I went in. And I wouldn't go in with more than you're willing to kind of lose here. I got a little spot though. I did get a little spot in Monad, more or less because I'm interested to see how this whole platform works. And if it does well, great. If it doesn't, I'm not like totally upset. Like, I'm not putting in what I can't afford to lose, but I want to be in there and ready for all their next launches as well. But yeah, go ahead. My bad. I didn't want to cut you off.
No, you're good. So Monad's launching today, right? And full. I forget the word I'm using. Guys, I've been fucking going nonstop for like a
transparency.
Week. So my brain is fucking fogged, and I still got another week straight of events. But long story short, they have an event today I'm going to also in about a few hours, right after the space. But like, the way I look at it is like Astro just launched, Monad launched, there's other things that are launching, blah blah blah. You think Monad's gonna launch and then a month later be like, "Yep, see you later, cycle's over"? Like it just doesn't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying, Zach? Like all these new projects, companies that are coming out, and then oh, yep, it's over next month. You know, you have another what 40, 30 days, 40 days. Cycle's over, guys. I'll see you next cycle. You know, wrap it up. It doesn't make any sense. That's the way I'm looking at it. There's just too much good shit coming out on top of all the news, the ETFs, like you're saying, for it to just completely end next month. That's just the way I'm looking at it. Because again, alts haven't done jack squat. See? Censored myself, Zach. Haven't done jack squat. So it's like, I don't see the market being over next month. Unless we get a crazy God candle that Bitcoin goes to like 200K out of the blue, then ETH starts pumping, then all just blow up real quick for some reason, which could happen. But again, with all this new stuff coming out, and again, I was just at the BNB event and they were having a hackathon and they were, giving out money for, new projects that literally got developed the day before. Or it was like a 36-hour hackathon where people were developing new tech and products, and they had like a contest for it. So you told me they're gonna keep building all this cool shit. Oh my god, sorry. Building all this cool stuff, and then all of a sudden next month the market is just over and collapsing. It doesn't make sense, and I think a lot of people are starting to wake up to that idea. I think people are saying, you know what, maybe this is different. Maybe with the ETFs and all that other stuff that's happening, maybe we do get into middle of next year, maybe a little later. I'm one of those people that hate moving goalposts. I don't like doing that. I don't want to be like, oh, it's going to end in December. Oh no, now it's going to end in March. Oh no, I don't like that. But it doesn't feel like next month's the end.
No, I'm with you 100%. And I don't think you can put time frames on this stuff. That's the other thing where I think people screw up is like, I'm going to sell by December 15th and that's going to be the top. And it's like, yeah, okay, good luck. Like take profits when you could take profits, right? Like take profits when numbers hit certain targets, not time frames, right? So this is something we talk about quite a bit. But yeah, I'm with you. I think, you know, it's just completely different. We're not on these 4-year cycles. Like the halvings used to mean so much more than now what they mean. Like they used to mean so much more because it was a small market. It was like this you know, little space where nobody really took seriously. You know what I mean? And so it was easier to predict. And it just so happened that, everything was so tied to the Bitcoin halvings. Well, we're not there anymore. We're not there. Like when you have sovereign wealth funds, when you have ETFs, when you have countries, getting into Bitcoin, pension funds, all of this conversation, the halving kind of takes a step back, right? And these other things precede it. Like, so yeah, I mean it's a watered down market. That's the other thing. There's a lot of shit out there, so it's harder to get all of these altcoins to move because everybody's chasing all this other bullshit instead of just going into the top stuff. Imagine if all the people who were chasing the next crazy thing or whatever just were, getting into the top assets. But it's not what's happening right now. The market's watered down. It's completely reversed and flipped over from retail to institutions. And yeah, I mean it's thrown, I think, everything we thought we knew about the market out the window. And the longer I'm in crypto, the more I'm in the camp of every cycle is different. Every cycle is different. So again, I think we have a lot of positive catalysts with market structure bill coming, with future ETFs coming, right? With more liquidity coming into the market. There's way too much money sitting in money market funds. That money's going to go somewhere. It's not going to sit there and they're not going to be happy with earning 4.5%. It's sitting there for the time being because they're not in a risk on, mood right now. But that will change. That will change. Extreme, what's going on, man?
Yo, Zach, real quick, right before we get to Extreme, just a quick announcement, guys. We are the official media partner of 2 events at Argentina at DevConnect. So if you guys are in the area, let us know. Adoption Con is one of them with Epic Web3. Just announced that partnership. Got some big players there. Visa's going to be there. MetaMask, Celo. There's a bunch. Stellar. There's a bunch. So, guys, if you go in there, we'll post that stuff up in a little bit. Go ahead, Richard.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Got you loud and clear.
How you doing? I'm always listening as usual, but I just wanted to jump in. Am I wrong in thinking? I've always kind of worked on the belief that we needed Bitcoin to kind of top out and start to drop before all the altcoins really have their moment. I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure that was always like the case like that people used to talk about. I mean, so if that's the case, it should surely be a good sign that Bitcoin's starting to have a bit of a pullback now, and then altcoins can have their moment. That's kind of where my thoughts are at the moment. So I'm trying to max out as much as possible on things like Ethereum, Solana, and just try and make the most of that in the next few months and just see how it goes. And then eventually I can actually start building up on Bitcoin once it's bottomed out, whenever that is. It was just my thought. I don't know. I don't know whether or not I've misunderstood things over the last 12 months, but I just always assumed that Bitcoin needed to start to pull back before altcoins have their moment.
No, and I think there's some merit to that. I still think that thesis is still intact, but I also don't think it's as clean cut as it used to be with the rotation, because institutional money is here and they're less predictable than retail money and the people who controlled the markets back then. There were still institutions pulling the strings back then, and it was just the big exchanges, the money markets, the market makers, and those are still in play. But now you have BlackRock, now you have Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy, you have Fidelity, you have all these big giants. And to me, the next phase of the bull run that includes altcoins is going to be when the institutions start to make their move. Like when the rotation from IBIT's, Bitcoin ETF starts to roll into Ethereum, starts to roll into some of these other index funds that I think are coming. They're not here yet. Like I just put up that CMC 20 or whatever. I expect that to happen in the traditional sense, where like that's how we're going to get the Solana, the Ethereum, the HBAR, the Litecoin, all these sort of things moving, is when the big money, the institutions, are able to move how they want to move. And they want to do it through ETFs and exchange traded products, ETPs. Like, we're just not there yet. And we've been stalled out with a lot of these, the market structure bill and the ETFs because of the shutdown, because of, just kind of a slow moving process. And all while that's happening, well, Bitcoin's ETF's out. It's been out since January 2024. Let's just pile into this and create FOMO into this asset, right? Let's FOMO into gold and create FOMO there and have retail lining up out the door just to sell on their heads. So they're pulling the strings now in the crypto market. So we're at their mercy in a lot of ways. And while that's going on, there's still plays to make though. I just think they're short-term plays. You look at what Zcash has done, and Zcash has been one where, how many times are people going to try to FUD Zcash and say, yep, that's the top. The top's in. I told you. We're going to dump here from now. And then it rips back up. So, there's something happening there. I think institutional money's coming in there. You've had ample opportunities to buy the dip on Zcash. Ample opportunity. I don't even know how many times. I'm holding the spot position now after just winning the trade. But there's been plays. They're just not the plays that we're used to, in that we just, buy Cardano at 40 cents and sell it, 2 months later at $4 or whatever, while the whole market's going up. It's just different. So you got to pick your spots in the short term, hold your conviction bags, in my opinion, where you think the institutions are going to go next. Like, so it is similar in that, like, the Bitcoin, rolls over into the other assets, except the rollover isn't, happening by the usual suspects. We're waiting on the big institutions. We're waiting on full clarity and all of that. Like, that's the camp I'm in. So I'll continue to double down on, Ethereum, Solana, HBAR, XRP, some of these ones at the top. I'm liking Litecoin quite a bit, like under $100. I like Litecoin, Ondo, and Chainlink, like two other ones, right? Like you guys know the ones I talk about all the time. I mean, you know where I'm doubling down and just being patient to where the institutions are in these things. It's just when do they want to push them higher? And I think they're getting ready for that risk on environment that I think will come at some point in 2026. I think when it does come, you've got to be quick on the trigger, and when certain things hit your levels, take your profits, because these institutions, they're not going to wait for you. They're going to profit quickly, and so as much as we can as retail just mirror what they're doing. That's the blueprint for me right now. That's the blueprint. Don't try to outthink or outsmart the smart money. Just invest with the smart money. Cliff, what's up, man?
Yo, what's up? Back, paid, everybody else. Happy Monday. Man, you guys are absolutely 100% right, dude. I feel that. I believe in that. No doubt. And the first thing that should have kind of let us know that this cycle was different were the ETFs. That's something that we've never had before in crypto. That's one thing that's different. The second thing that's different is the fact that Bitcoin pumped pre-halving this year, or not this year, but last year. But that's the first time that's happened. It pumped before the halving, so that's something that's different. The third thing that's different in this cycle than any other cycle that we've been through is, and I think this isn't talked about very much, but this past October was the very first post-Bitcoin halving negative return October, right? That's never happened before either. And not many people are talking about that. But that's definitely something that's different. And I believe they're giving us little clues to let us know that, yeah, this cycle's different. All the historicals that you go off of, throw that crap out of the window, because there's a new driver in the seat now, and it's not what you think that it is. So everything that we use historically to this point, it really, they're telling us that doesn't mean much anymore. They're controlling the way that it's going to go, just like you said. And the point of them doing that is so they can maximize profits and shake us out of profits that we're sitting in right now. I mean, we may not be sitting totally in profit, but I'm almost certain that there's people in this space, myself included, that bought at the lows, and we're still sitting in profit right now, and they don't like that. So they want to cause fear to shake you out. And I also agree, man, there's so many positive catalysts coming for not only this market, but really every market, but also crypto in particular, dude, with the regulatory clarity that's coming. We still have Ukraine and Russia that are still at war. We still have potential rate cuts coming. We still have tariff deals. We have, ETF approvals, like you said. And now they're even talking about potential stimulus checks. Japan even announced, I believe it was yesterday, that they're talking about, I think it's like $180 billion stimulus that they're going to send out. So not only is the United States talking about stimmies, but now Japan and potentially others are talking about it. So, dude, this correction I was looking at it's like 26% on Bitcoin from the high, right? Which, I mean, if we go back, and I know I just said historicals don't mean anything, but if we go back and look, this is not uncommon to have in bull markets, to have a correction on the way up. And I know, it feels terrible when it's happening, but Warren Buffett has always said, be greedy when others are fearful, and be fearful when others are greedy. And that holds a lot of weight, man, a lot of merit. And, right now are the times when people are fearful. So what should we do when others are fearful, right? I'm being greedy. I'm buying the dips. I mean, I'm not trying to tell anybody else what to do. Me and Matasco have had talks in the background, obviously. Um, when the market's down, it kind of it messes your headspace up a little bit. It's hard to stay positive. It's hard to stay bullish, but that's exactly where they want us. So if you can fight through that and just hold to the plan that you had, I feel like it's going to work out positively for us. And I just want to say that, man, because it's been tough.
And Cliff, I'm with you 100%. And I just want to hit on this point yet again. There are opportunities to still win in this market in the short term. Like Zcash is up 221% in the last month. I mean, if you're fading it, whatever, that's fine. But like a month ago, how many people a month ago were like, I'm not buying that? No way I'm buying that. Well, I mean, a lot of these plays right now are momentum trades, and you've got to just pick your spots, find your pullbacks. I mean, there are 4 assets in the top 100 that are up 100% this month. Dash, Stark, DCR, and Zcash. You've got Telcoin up 68% in the last 2 weeks. ICP made a run. Like, there's ways to kind of catch these waves in the short term. That keeps you afloat. So, like, in addition to having your long-term stacks that aren't moving right now, it doesn't mean you have to just stop, right? And this is why we talk about keeping cash on the sidelines and having a cash position, because it allows you to make these intermediate plays. In addition to have your long-term conviction plays where you're buying and holding spot positions. So there's opportunity still here. It's just, do you want it or not? I was going to go to Mar, but I think he dropped. Yeah, go ahead.
No, Zach. Yeah, I mean, dude, since the last bear market bottom, this may be the most opportunity that we've had, if you think about it. I mean, a lot of things are just sitting maybe 15%, 20% above those lows. So
for sure,
we've got tremendous opportunity right now, in my opinion. But yeah, dude, I agree. 100%.
But it all comes back to mindset, Cliff, and that's the thing. It's like if your mindset is like, what's going to make me rich the next 2 weeks, versus shit, if I buy Dogecoin today at 16 cents, I'm probably going to make some money in over time here. If I buy Cardano under 50 cents, this thing's eventually probably going to get back to at least where it was at its all-time high in 2021, right? And again, like, these are top 10 assets. Like, it's not like you're going down and, number 526, nobody's paying attention to this thing. That's fine. Like, you can hit home runs, but there's no reason to do that right now when you've got top 10 assets that are getting obliterated. Mar, what's up, man?
Good morning, Zach. Hey, what's up, Clifford, Oscar, everyone? Hope you're doing great. Matasco, I see him down there. Yeah, I mean, the market, look, I don't know how short and long it is. We're for sure in a bear market right now for altcoins. And we have the sentiment right now. The feeling is, you just said something, Zach, that's very important. You said, oh, I'm buying Dodge at whatever price it is right now because in the future, I'm making money with this. You know what, Zach? I'm going to disagree with that because there are people out there. I'm in spaces, right, Zach, with people that have been in a bull market in 17 and 21. Hard to find someone before that, And they are scared to shit that a lot of these blue chips are going to die out and they ain't going to do nothing. Even with coins like Avalanche, Dogecoin, Shiba, Link, they are scared to shit. These guys are panicking. And these institutions, these big players, man, they're great at this game, which you are right. These coins are going to make us money in the future. But now they're bringing in that sentiment where almost like, during the FTX collapse, there's always a peak in the market where we start feeling like this shit might never come back, And the reason I said we're in a bear market with altcoins is because for sure 100% we feel that Bitcoin is here to stay, and it's going to find new heights in the next run, whenever it is. I believe these bear markets are short-term bear markets. They're playing with our heads, man. That's what I got to say about when it comes to institutions. So it's kind of to the point, Zach, that they've made these veterans that have been in crypto for 8-10 years think about, holy shit, no, we're not going to have it all season. Oh shit, are these fucking coins coming back? Just like the way we felt in 2021, especially the newbies like me that got in here in late 20, were like, oh, Bitcoin is dying. $16,000. Oh, fuck, no. This shit's done. And it's an easy psychology because they want you to feel that way so they have enough time to get their clients and to buy. They don't want you to buy. So they make you feel like it's going to stay in zero and it's going to die. That's one thing, man. Another thing I want to bring up, Zach, and this is something that me and you probably understand better because at least you've been in one of those plays. But, man, believe it or not, I'm looking also at the performance of these low market cap projects that went crazy back in late 23, 24. And look, one of them that I'm sure you made pretty well and I did good was our trade. This is a project, and at the same time, I'll be, throwing it out there. Whoever is interested, they can go and do their homework. This is a project that they're still building through since 2021, and they went from $1 million market cap to 200 million in late 23. Back down. I don't know if you've seen it lately, Zach. Back down to 2 million market cap. And then we have another blockchain like BITUNIX that went from 1 million to 200 million, back down to I think like $3 million market cap now. And these are projects that they have been building. They've stuck around. They have found strategy how to pump. BITUNIX found a way to pump through finding partnerships, and our trade kind of caught the last wave of pumping through exchanges, like getting listed. I think in late 23 they got listed like in 6 different exchanges in less than 2 months. So, and that shit don't even work anymore. And of course they're building. They have a product. And these projects they look dead. This is when you gotta strengthen your balls and say, do I go in or not? And people are not going. They're not going in. I'm even scared. I hold a small ass bag of our trade. I'm even scared. This shit coming back, and this is where believe it or not, man. These 2 little projects and a few others have shown me we're in a fucking bear market. Not even the blue chips. The blue chips already are showing you, we're in a bear market, man. These things are not performing at all. All the R is going down, down, down. And it's all like people say, oh, this has been a Bitcoin run. You know what, man? I would think about saying that this is a Bitcoin run because BNB by $10, it missed it by $10, is the only blue chip from 2021 that it 2x from the top of 2021. BNB. I want you to, think that. I want that to sink in. BNB is the only blue chip. Let's say it did a 2x. It missed it by $10. That did a 2x from the top of 2021. Not even Bitcoin. So a lot of people are saying this has been a Bitcoin run. No, this has been a BNB run, man. And it was the most quiet blue chip. That tells you everything, how sneaky these investors are, institutions are, that the coin that did perform the best so far in this run, if you want to call it I'll call it a run. I'm not even going to call it a bull run. In this run was BNB, the coin that no one spoke about, and it was sitting there in the top 5, the top 10. But yeah, man, it's we all say it's a weird market. Fuck yeah, it ain't weird to them. It's weird to us because you're like, what the hell is happening? And that's the sentiment, man. I'm just seeing a lot of people. I'm actually more calm, and I came in halfway through the bull market of 21, and I'm more calm than these guys from 17 that went through 17 and 21, because I kind of saw it, man. I want, before May, I was getting rid of my alts, a lot of my positions. I went to more Bitcoin, and I went more towards stocks, and kept holding, and started holding more stable coins, you know, and I realized you got to hold a nice position of stable coins to jump into the new hype, whatever's hyping, whatever's pumping in crypto. Even during a bear market of alts, like if you were holding money, you could have gotten into Zcash and make some money. If you would have had some stable coins, you could have jumped to Aster when it was pumping a few months ago. You know. But yeah, man, that's just my take, man. I'm also looking at those those low market cap projects that are building. They did great in 23, and they just dying now. They look like they're about, like, they ain't coming back, and that's the message for me. Those, believe it or not, those low market cap projects that are so down. And these are teams that are delivering every day. They're talking to the community every day, coming up with updates every week. I'm sure a lot of people here follow Paul, just like Paul. But you know, Paul hasn't hit that crazy run like these two projects did, and all those that I know. And they look like they're dying. There's no way this is a bull market. There's no way we even have started with all coins yet. When? Who knows? You know, who knows? And I'll land the plane with this. I am not, I used to, but I am not sitting back waiting on rate cuts. I'm not sitting back on a stimulus check. When throughout all these times that rates have been high, the stock market and gold and Bitcoin has been fucking pumping without any of that shit. I'm not waiting. I actually realized, and I'm going to put my money on this, I think we're going to go parabolic. I think the crypto market is going to go nuts. And I'm not going to put a date on it. When everything is quiet and there's no news. I think that's when, not waiting, oh, when we get this, we're going to pump. You're going to be fucking surprised. You're going to wake up one day and say, what the hell is going on? Nobody's talking about crypto. There isn't any news. I think that's when this market is going to go fucking nuts and catch us by surprise, because these motherfuckers are that ruthless, you know?
No, I'm with you, man. I mean, some great points, some great stuff. And yeah, I mean, listen, they're not going to stop just at Bitcoin. What they're doing with Bitcoin right now is obviously, you know, controlling it. My thing is, they're not going to stop here, bro. Like, it's early for everything else. And because it's been, you know, Bitcoin, and you're right, BNB deserves credit for one of those coins that's been around for a really long time. It has been amazing. There's been some intermediate plays though. I mean, even SWE, right? Like, if you'd have caught SWE at a good time and sold it around $5, you did really well there. If you'd have caught Hyperliquid and sold it, if you'd have caught Zcash and took your profits, I mean, there's been these one-off opportunities. I'm in on this Monad thing too. I just got in. I'm looking at the total sale right now. Total available on Coinbase is 187 million USDC worth. It just went live at 9 a.m. this morning, not even an hour and a half ago. 57 million USDC has already been requested of the 187 million. This thing's gonna fill up fast. We'll see how it goes. I'm not going in there with a crazy amount and gonna lose my ass on it, but I do want to see kind of what this looks like on Coinbase and how it goes, and I want to be approved for the next one and the next one and the next one. But you're right. I mean, there's going to be an altcoin season. I don't think it's going to be everything moves up. I think you're gonna have to guess right this time, though. I think you're going to have to be front running the right big money, and I feel like I've got my chips in the right places. I'm not going to be right on all of them, but I'm going to be right on a few of them. And in crypto, if you've been here long enough, you know that that's how you win. You don't have to be right on all of them. You could be right on 2 or 3 of them, and just have modest gains on a lot of other shit, or break even, or even lose a little bit, and you're going to be happy.
Yeah, and Zach, real quick, that if anyone wants to really invest heavily on altcoins, I suggest the top 50. Look at the top 50. The top 50, it's like 98% of the whole market cap in crypto. A lot of people don't know this, but the top 50 is basically the whole market cap. After that, I think we're like $140 billion. The rest of the whole crypto, that's registered to coin market cap, of course. I will look at those top 50, do my homework on it, super research, see how active those teams are they delivering, and the top 50 is not about going into Telegram and see how busy the fucking Telegram is. No, it's more about, coming into X, see the updates that they're talking about, if they're bringing in something that makes sense for the future of crypto, and I will invest on those. Those are easier to catch. And then I'll start going down to projects that are like 3, 4, 10, $20 million market cap. And those projects, you do need to pay attention a little bit more to Telegram. See if the Telegram is busy. See the community, because you're going to need the community to push that, get you out of that fucking hole down there. And then at the same time, see what they're delivering, That's what I would do. You're 100% right. Not every project is going to pump. I do think that the top 50 are going to do good. At least 60-70% of them are going to pump like crazy during all season. You got to be lucky to catch which is the one that has the right narrative, what they're building that makes sense for the future of the government. See if they're working with the government. If the coin is a U.S. coin, that helps a lot too.
You have to pull it out.
But yeah, man, that's just my take, man. Whenever you least expect it, we're gonna fucking go crazy. No one expected we're gonna go on a bull run right at the beginning, right after COVID, during COVID. No one expected to see that shit, and we did, and I still believe that it's gonna happen when everything just seems already dead and quiet, and you're gonna see these spaces even be less people in them. It's when you're gonna, the ones that stick around and don't give up. You're gonna see how do you call it? Out of nowhere, we're gonna go crazy, and then doing that 1 year going, crazy parabolic, we're gonna see. We're always gonna have a reason and excuse why we went. Oh, we received this $2,000 check, this and that, whatever the hell it is. We're always gonna point at something that it probably has nothing to do with why this market went nuts. That's why you gotta hold your position, man. And I've always said it, DCA, DCA on the way down, and always DCA on the way up when you're taking profits. But there's still a feeling that we ain't going nowhere. I mean, nothing was worse, Zach, than the FTX collapse, Celsius, Luna. If you went through that time, you should be cold-blooded right now. You should be a professional. But there are people that are panicking because these motherfuckers always find a way to give people panic, no matter how much experience you have. And they're doing it with not off season, not giving us that, not happening. And watch, it will happen, and you're gonna be shocked. When you least expect it, it's gonna happen.
I'm with you. Paige, you got something? You got your hand up, and we'll get to Coach and Mutasco here too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, regardless of price action, because we all know price action sucks right now. It's awful. I've been in 8 conferences this year, Zach, something like that. People are building, man. Like a lot of these, like Mar was saying, a lot of these top 50 projects are stuff you should look into, because you go to a lot of these events, there are people building, and a lot of people, they just want to see price action, but they're not seeing the whole long-term vision. So, like, you just got to remember that at any given point, like, again, Monad's the perfect example. This thing is launching, like, now, as Zach was saying. It's probably going to sell out, whatever. You think that's just going to disappear next month? Like, no. They're going to build this out. They're going to keep pushing it. They're going to have new launches. They're going to do a whole 9. So, like, people have to see the other side of things. Like, it's a little easier when you go to these conferences because you can talk to, more projects, protocols at once. But, I mean, even if you don't go to these things, you can just look up online, kind of like what Mar was saying, go into Twitter, see what they're building. If you want, jump into Telegram or jump into Discord or whatever. But, don't get it twisted that, since the price is down, nothing is happening. I think that's the one thing people got to remember. Just because the price doesn't always reflect what's actually going on, and sometimes even when it doesn't do it like in totality, right? So just a friendly reminder that people are definitely building right now.
And I think to add on to that, and Mar alluded to this too, you want to find the companies that are making money. You want to find the companies that have a business model that are actually doing something. I mean, you can say what you want about the whole perp dex stuff, right? But people are doing it. People are trading on perp dexes, and that's why Hyperliquid is making a shit ton of money. That's why Aster is making a shit ton of money. Like these guys aren't going anywhere. I mean, and you can look at it. I look at Chainlink in a similar way. Chainlink is an infrastructure play. They're partnered up with everybody. I know their prices suck, but I'd rather take a bet on number 14, Chainlink, knowing that they're partnered with all the people they're partnered with and an infrastructure play for, stable coins and RWA, all of the big narratives, right? There's certain assets, even within the top 30 or top 40, top 50, that are better suited to win. A, if they're already spinning off cash. B, if they're already invested, funded by the big players, working with the big players. These are the ones to me that are no-brainers. And there's different types of plays. You look at Litecoin. I think Litecoin's very interesting still. Top 20 crypto. I know the price action has sucked on it. But how much lower could Litecoin go? We know they have ETFs coming now. Like, if you're going to make a bet on, what the next Bitcoin type play could be, it's proof of work. It's built on Bitcoin consensus model. That's a play I want to continue to stack under $100. You look at HBAR and AVAX down there, number 20, number 21. They're big in the RWA space. Hedera's, working alongside some huge companies, right? Like, but I mean, look at the companies that are making money too. And it's one of the reasons, I feel like Aster's got this kind of mantra now. You either hate it or love it, or listen, I don't really give a shit. I don't hate it or love it, but I made money on it on the way up, took some profits, still have a really good position in it, and it's Binance's perp dex. Well, look what BNB has done. I mean, and if CZ's right and dexes are going to be bigger than centralized exchanges, that's a bet I'm willing to bet on. People think like Aster's price is gone. It's only 48. It only went to it didn't even go to $3. I mean, it went to $2.44 or some shit. Okay. I mean, you pulled back to $1.25. Like, I think that's a fucking great spot.
Hey, Zach, I actually said in a space a few weeks ago, I said, this is, for me, Aster and Hyperliquid, but more Aster than anything. For me, Aster is the $100,000 trade, meaning you put $100,000 on it, and this is not financial advice, but if I had $100,000, I want to 10x that bitch. Aster, I think, is the play to turn that into $1 million. You can't bet against a billionaire. This guy, look what he's done with BNB, the best coin over Bitcoin this time around. Performed better than Bitcoin. Number one. And you're going to bet against CZ. He got patterned already. And he's supporting Aster. And let me tell you, man, people, leverage is going to die out. Bro, cocaine is still around. Crack cocaine is still around.
What?
Casinos are still around. And that shit ain't going away, bro.
No,
and
I take
leverage
your point.
ain't going. leverage is not going away. That shit is addictive, bro.
I'm crying right now. I'm crying.
I agree
will say,
100%.
I was at the
I agree
BNB
100%.
event. I was at the BNB event yesterday, and sentiment was super, super positive. I mean, obviously they have one of the best charts of the cycle, and they had a really cool location. I was also at the BNB event in Korea. So yeah, I mean, BNB got builders, y'all. So like, you know, outside of CZ, obviously he's the face. People are definitely building on BNB, and you know, Aster's looking good.
They got
people
money.
love to gamble.
They got money.
They takes alcohol. People love all that shit, bro. These perks, bro. It hasn't even started yet. It's like, well, until they add all these options and what all the other stuff, like, it's gonna be nuts, bro. It's gonna be fucking nuts. If I have some money on Aster, I actually picked Aster over Hyperliquid, because, bro, I'm not. Fuck that. I'm not betting against ZZ. I'm putting my money is on ZZ. The guy has been pardoned, and I think he hasn't even started yet, bro. There's a reason why he got pardoned. This guy hasn't even started yet, man. I've always owned BNB. I wish I would have had more. I swear to God, I wish I would have had more. When he went to jail and all this, that kind of scared me a little bit. But boy, did I fucked up, you know. And then you got Vitalik that, you know, Ethereum needs a face, man. Ethereum needs a face, you know? And this has proved that when you have a face that does things, your company seems to go higher. Look at Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a character, you know? And I think Ethereum, even though Ethereum is doing an update, by the way, on December 4th, and one of those things is that gas is even going to be cheaper, and it's going to be faster, so that's pretty good for ETH, you know? But look at Ethereum. For me, the worst coin. For me, ETH has been the worst performing coin in this whole run. I'm not even going to call it a bull run. This whole run. But yeah, man, I'm putting my money on CZ, man. You know, that guy just seems good at everything he does. But
Mar, I will say, I think you have a good point when it comes to founders being public. Everyone knows CZ, obviously. Most people know Vitalik. Charles Hoskinson, Sonny Liu from VeChain, who's been on our show a few times, or at least once. He's going to be on the show again. But it's like, I think you have a good point where if people are looking at projects, look for projects that have their founders pretty front-facing, who are actually posting on X, who are actually doing talks, who are going to these conferences and conventions, because a lot of these founders are not doing that. I mean, you know, I've been in the crypto market, you know, for a cycle now. Zach's been in a couple cycles, whatever. Others Zach's probably a couple cycles too. But like, how many founders can you name of all the top 100 projects? I can't name 10, maybe 10, but I can't really name more than that. And so the reason we can name a handful of them is because they are public facing, whether that's online, whether that's IRL. That really does help. Like CZ was at the Binance event briefly in Korea for like 20 minutes. Just popped in, had like dinner or something, like some light refreshments or whatever it was, and then left, right? And that's great. You know, name 10, 20 other projects where that happens with. It's not as common as you think. And again, I've been to like 8 conventions, conferences, whatever you want to call them, this year. And who have I seen? I've seen Charles Hoskinson. CZ was at, you know, the Korea one. I mean, Vitalik's out there. I haven't seen him personally, but Vitalik's been out there. And then just like a handful of others, right? I think the founder of Polkadot was at the Polkadot event the other day. I forget his name. But other than that, like a lot of these top 100 projects, they don't have their founders out front and center. Now, maybe they're busy doing X, Y, and Z, but having that presence out once in a while, I think is super important.
But you know how pathetic it is that we need to jump from blockchain to blockchain to find runners. Like, for, you know, a few weeks ago, BNB, before the Solana, then before that, I don't know, Tron, then Ethereum, that we can't have all of them popping at the same time. That's how early we are, man. That's how early we are. That we're just scavenging for money. Okay, this chain is the one that's popping now. Why can't all of them be fucking going nuts at the same time? You know? Because we're not in a run yet. And again, at the end, I'm going to say one thing. Regulations is what's going to make this market pop. When 95% of the people that haven't got it in yet have some trust on these altcoins. And even Bitcoin. A lot of people still think that Bitcoin is a scam out there. Regulations and the government is going to, they're prepping all this. I know that Mutasco knows a lot about this because he reads about all the what's coming when it comes to regulations and stuff like that. They're prepping it, and then they're going to feed it to us, and they're going to make us feel safe about this this space. And that's when I think the massive are going to come in, and that takes time because I think you said it, Zach. The government just works slow, bro. But that's the way they work. That's the way they do it because they're setting up their positions to make fucking money too, of course. And it's a game right now of time and patience. No matter what age you are. Right? It sucks, man, because when you're super young, you're in your 20s, you're impatient. But you're in your 20s, you got plenty of time and you're impatient. And then us that are in our 50s, we have patience. And we're the ones that should be impatient because we're getting there, But yeah, man, it's just patience and, take the Lambo out of your head and all this shit and just concentrate on the assets that you are right now. And yeah, man, my final take, man, I'm shocked that I've seen people, that's how scary it is, from 2017 and right now they're just shocked and they're like, what is happening? It's hitting them right they're getting punched, Not the same for Mike Tyson, Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. That's what's happening to these OGs right now.
Yeah, 100% agree. Coach, we'll get to you next. Coach, what's going on? Good morning.
Did you say it was my turn?
Sir? Wait, hold on. Let me give you a better introduction. Guys, everyone take a knee, helmets off. Coach is in the building. Coach, GM, what's happening?
Good morning, guys. Yeah, this is a smart room, right? So a lot of good points have already been made. And one of the last things you said, Mar, really is, what is your age? Because if you've got 30 more years, 20 more years, 16 more years, all that, I think you're in a really good place here because my opinion is crypto's not going to go away. I'm the older demographic, so, this is my third cycle. So I'm not scared, but I've been through 2 bear markets after bull runs, so it's not so much fear as it is preservation of capital and trying to figure out what are the institutions going to do because they are in control. So they look at the same charts that we do. For me personally, 93.5 is a Fibonacci line that goes back to 2017. So that may be my exit point from crypto totally. And so you have to look on a macro scale, a micro scale, and who's in control. And I think obviously the Black Rocks and all are in control at the top. They look at the same charts. What I don't know, and if somebody here can tell me, what are the profit margins right now? Because we're looking at fiscal year end coming, and with a business, what you want to do is show growth every year over quarters, over yearly, or whatever it is. What are the profit margins that BlackRock and all these guys?
Coach, you still there? Or is it just me?
Yeah, I did
It's
hear
just you. No, I'm just kidding. I can't. He disconnected. Yeah, we'll get him back up in a second. Hold on. Bring him back up right now. Coach.
Okay, I'm back. X seems to rug me a lot. But can you hear me? Check 1, 2.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, so I feel like and again, I look at it at macro level. What are the profit margins that these institutions have? Can they take it down, still show profit, and report? So next year it could be better, or it can be slow growth, if you will. So that's something I don't know. I know Sailor, I think, has a pretty high cost basis, right? But I don't know what the BlackRocks and all those guys have. So year-end planning comes into play here. On a macro level, I'm leaning towards we're heading to a recession when you can't give out your labor data because the government shutdown means to me, and doesn't mean I'm right. Are they hiding something, right? Has labor really, or unemployment gotten out of hand, basically, and they don't want you to know that. So those are things that I'm looking at. I'm just telling my situation more than anything. I've been pulling money out of all my different financial instruments, my SEP IRA, my IRA, because I saw what the Berkshire have Warren Buffett has been doing. So as this is as if he feels like we might have the R word happening here. So and again, because I'm in the older demographic, I'm looking at preservation of capital. If you've got 20 years, you're in a really good place, and through the cycles that I've been through, it's DCA, small bits, because you're not going to figure it out. And then what's going to happen? Are the institutions going to say, well, here's what the charts say, so we can do this and we can take this thing down and we can get these people scared and we can get these people out and we can take over these, or not? And that's what we don't know. I feel like you've got, I call it 2 sectors or maybe 3 sectors. You've got a finance sector here in crypto. You've got a building blockchain technology sector here in crypto. And these are the ones that Zach talks about, the Ondos, and everybody in here, not just Zach, the Ondos, the chain links, the different chains that are building blockchain technology. And then you're going to have the third, which is the gambling section, basically, if you will. And I don't think that's going to go away. So now you've got control by institutions. You've got control by people like CZ that are the behemoths in this industry. And so I don't think that they're not going to go away. So if the institutions are in control of that, are they working? Are the government's working with CZ? I don't know. But, CZ's not going to go away. Seeing the Zcash thing, obviously it's done well. It's been around since 2017. It had obviously a giant pump at the beginning. It had a nice pump, I think it was 2021 or something like now. And to see Winklevoss boys in there, I think Cameron or one of the Winklevoss guys popped in on a space the other day. I'm like, oh, hell. You've got him involved in this. Well, if you got him involved in this, then you probably got a lot of the Bitcoin OGs that might be going to this. So this could be a good play, but who freaking knows? So, that's just kind of from a macro perspective, what's here. And we don't really know. None of us really know. We have hopium and we think and we talk about it, which is what we're doing here. And what are they going to do? So, again, I'm looking at, I've got an exit position of exiting crypto. And it's different because I'm retired, right? So it's a total difference. I'm not scared about it, but I don't want, I think it was 2017, the bear correction was 70%. In 2021, it was 65%. And I'm talking about Bitcoin specifically. So if that's going to happen, well, I don't want to. I can't wait 4 years this time. So I have an exit position. As you get older, then taxes come into play. Health insurance if you retire early, which I have. These things come into play, which you don't say. I've always said, don't let taxes be your decision making reason, basically. But when you're retired, it is, because your adjusted gross income affects so many things, and then you start having all those expenses like health expenses and kids that can't afford houses, so they move back home. Things that I would not have said 30 years ago or 20 years ago or whatever it is, that have come into play that I would have never been able to predict. So, again, if you're in your 20s and 30s, you're in freaking good shape because you're in crypto early. And so you can weather these storms, but you still, I think, the best advice, not financial advice, but the best advice is if you DCA, don't DCA everything. Zach talks about it. Tosco talks about it. Everybody have your stable. And Mar was just talking about, you had some really good things to share there, bro. Don't go all in. You're not going to time it right. But if you DCA and you go down and the cycle does go down 65% and you bought at, 10% down and 20% down and 40% down and 65%, you're in freaking good shape. And then it turns and you wait and it comes back up. Then, now next, let's say in 4 years after the halving cycle, Bitcoin may be at 200,000. So for me personally, it hit my number over the weekend. I wasn't paying attention because I was grilling and watching football and walking away from because I would watch it. Or I possibly could have exited, but I thought, well, this is retail. Did I go rug again? Hang on. Shit.
Well, I heard
Still
you
here for now.
No, we're good. Okay. So retail was probably fear selling over, and I thought that might happen over the weekend. So retail's a kind of a smaller percentage of the market. So I really wanted to wait and see what happened today, and it looked like it may be going up, which is good. I'd like to see, for my personal reason, I'd like to get to, let's say up to the 115 to 125 year in. And this, once again, is a tax thing. So I can possibly take the profits in January and have a year and 4 months to be able to wait until I have to pay those taxes, right? But they know, all the big people know the same thing. People are waiting for their tax thing, so do we make a big run and get it up, or do we take it down and get them out? And either way, wherever I sell, I'm making profit here because I got in it so early. And but I hope to get to January and be in that 115 to 125 to whatever range, and maybe I can sell a little bit at the end of the year and a little bit first week in January, and then wait and see. Do I want to see if this thing comes back down? And I've got money on the side anyway, and it goes down 65%, then maybe I will buy back in. But just great ideas and thoughts and everything here in this room. I listen to everybody, and I'm just blessed that Zach, you and Pate are running this space, and you've got such a good group of intelligent people in here sharing thoughts, and it helps me to listen to you guys, because some of you guys are much more dialed in than I am. I've been around a long time, and so many else here as well. That's pretty much it. Fire away. Again, Mitosco, I would like to hear, if you have the information, what are the profit margins they have? We've got all this money coming in with ETFs, right? what's going to happen there? You know, from what I understand, a lot of the ETF money and a lot of the government is we're going to take some of this debt and we're going to just disperse it amongst the world instead of just the U.S. Dealing with this, you know, these high interest rates and this, just spiraling out of control debt that has to be paid off. So to me, that's a good bullish thing towards crypto. I've been observing some things here lately. Every time we have a dip here over the last, say, 2 or 3 months, Tron has outperformed everything else. So Do Kwon, you know, he's over there doing his thing right. So try to pay attention to that. Is that I hate to say the China people, but the people across the pond that have so much money and have so much control, you know, what are they doing? So we have to kind of watch that too. And I think you talking about BNB. I mean, dude, I bought BNB at 34 cents, you know, and got out though. So, you know, there's one of my mistakes. I could write a book about the mistakes I've made along the way. But CZ's a leader in this industry. You know, the OGs are rich as hell, the ones that didn't sell. And kind of keep an eye on what they're doing. What's going to happen with the government? I mean, you were talking about, I think it was Mar again, when the COVID happened and those stimulus checks. Well, some people needed the money to live off of, and the rest of the people bought crypto, right? So we get stimulus check, we might get a nice little bump just because of that reason right there, that people have a little extra money to throw in. So I hope that happens. And then maybe we do get that pump that goes to the end of the year or through the end of the year. And then after that, it's what are the institutions going to do? Basically, now that they have all this money, they're going to shake out and try to get 80% of the market, 90% of the market, or are they going to try to make the profits that, you know, can be, astronomical, that brings more people into crypto? And then the real big thing that we all probably need to pay attention to, what's going to happen with quantum computing? You know, when is that going to come in and potentially just take down the whole grid, right? Everybody's passwords, everybody's fun.
Decades away. They'll need millions of qubits to do that. And
right. Somebody's going to come out on top, though, you know, whether it's IBM or whoever it is. That's something that I worry about for my children, even more so than me.
Yeah.
But at some point, that's going to become a big player in this world, basically, of a technological world. So I'm just sharing some things I think of on a macro. Again, you know, cheers to everybody that's in here, because you really are early in crypto. You know, so 20 years from now, 30 years from now, from more to your generational wealth that goes down to your great-great-grandchildren, maybe because of what you're doing, being here early and paying attention and studying and discussing and really looking everything more than just I'm going into casino buying dog with a stick in his ass and hope it goes 50x. Right?
Dog with stick?
Peace.
Yo, real quick, before we get to Clifford and Mutasco, I pinned something up top about Aave of all platforms. They are introducing a savings app that looks kind of interesting. 6%
Hey, you got the notice
APY.
you're gonna rug.
What?
You got the notice up top you're gonna rug.
We should be right.
Host having connection issues.
I don't see that. But so Aave has this new savings app coming out, and looks like 6% APY with $1 million of asset protection, which is interesting. I don't know how they provide that. That's something I want to look into. But something like that could be interesting to high net worth individuals who want to, protect their wealth and get some of the investment. Because, banks give you $250,000. This gives you 4 times that. So I think this is interesting. I haven't really heard much from Aave in a while. I know Michael from DeFi down there, his space talks about it often, like how Aave is like undervalued or whatever. But this is just something. This is the first time I've seen something about Aave in a little while. So interesting. You know, $1 million of protection is a lot. A lot of people, you know, maybe in this circle don't necessarily need that quite yet. You know, hopefully with the bull run they will. Especially if they're gonna, you know, put their money in the stables, and it does take stable coins on ETH, so USDC and Tether. So that's pretty interesting. Just a little tad bit of news. Again, like we talked about earlier in the show, there's stuff always being